All right. So I'm back home. It's been a crazy week, but I haven't had a chance to really do a whole lot with the car. But today we are. Today we're actually going to work on starting to prep the front end to take these Church Boys Racing lower control arms, because it will take a little bit of work to do so. Basically, they come with these support brackets that will actually replace the position where the factory lower control arm strut rod will go, and see how it goes. I'm trying out a new camera today. I actually got the camera for other stuff, but since I have it, I might as well use it, and see how it goes. So that's what's on the plan for today, and hopefully we can get further than I'm hoping to, which is really just getting the plates put in place, because I'm not going to assemble the front end because the upper control arms aren't here yet, but at least get the provisions for the plates done. Maybe start trying to finish cleaning up the rest of the front end, wire wheeling it, and getting it to getting a coat of paint on it, stuff like that, to keep rust from transferring over. And yeah, that's what we can do. Are going to get more aggressive, and unfortunately, I still don't have the right or two sized 1 inch to be able to actually get the strut rod loose. So get to do so using the hammer of the. Now that I've lost half my arm hair grinding those rivets off, I'm curious on if this thing's gonna actually ready to pop out, or if I'm gonna have more work I gotta do. Might be in decent shape here. Okay, that side's good. Let's slide over and see about this side. This one corner is being a little stubborn. A little bit. Come on. Oh no, there's a rivet I didn't see. That's not going to stop me. I can get this one from the top. All right, so all the rivets are grinded on the other side. Let's see if this side's going to be a little more friendly to get apart. Feel good. All right, there's 2 for 2. Let's see about this side. That one's looking good. All right. Hey, that's what I wanted. If we look at the strut rod that popped off, right, we have these 4 main mount holes. There's a 5th one, but we don't really need to worry about it. But this goes from the front to the lower control arm in this pattern on the driver's side. You look at this new bracket. This bracket actually fits that roll. It has a couple extra bolts. So when you go to line everything up for it, technically it's more like this way, it goes ahead and replaces the strut rod system so that the new lower control arm actually bolts like this and then comes across, so you actually have a legit lower control arm rather than in a single point with a lateral stabilizer or like a transverse stabilizer. I don't know, something like that. But doing this stuff is a lot of fun because I don't have a job where I get to destroy stuff and grind and beat on things, which sometimes is boring. And I live here with my wife. We don't have any kids. All my guy friends are like quite a ways away that do guy stuff. One's in Texas. My other one close to me is Napa. And so doing the stuff where you really get that like masculine urge type of feeling out, masculine urge to grind and destroy something, masculine urge to beat something with amp, that kind of stuff. Working on the car helps me with that. Of course, being out of breath doesn't help. I need to get in better shape, but that's a whole other story. So you see where I grinded there. Basically, I ground down the body of the rivet, and then I'm just going to go in and try to hit it with the ball peen and pop it out, and then that's it. So, in further preparation of this front end stuff, just to make things a little bit simpler, I'm gonna actually pull off the core support because I can worry about cleaning this up and painting it a little more thoroughly that way. So we've got 4 bolts on each side here. We've got a bolt on the inside there. We've got this one here up on the top on each side. And then this whole front piece should come off. Okay, I think this is ready to be separated. Let's find out. Hey. Now getting in here to clean and address and paint all this stuff will be way easier. I'm mainly only worried about the inner fenders and stuff. I'm not too concerned with the part of me now wonders, should I go as far as pulling the front frame rails off too? Like if I'm going to try to do this right and try to make it look good or decent, should I go that far? It'll be easier to clean up the firewall. It'll be easier to clean up the inner fenders because I'll be able to kind of move them around and reposition them so I'm not in awkward spots. I guess I should. Trusty old knee pad here. I feel like one of those like old people that didn't take off the plastic for their furniture with this thing, but whatever. For these, maybe I shouldn't have gone to the gym and did arms this morning. things have escalated. It's funny because there's a guy who commented, hey, why don't you take the whole front clip off? And they sent it out for blasting and powder coat. And I was like, oh, I'm usually working solo most of the time, so it didn't seem that feasible because I thought it would come apart like as one whole unit, and then lo and behold, here I am working by myself today and pulling apart the entire front end. So I can wire wheel it and paint it. Part of it is it's cheaper to wire and wheel and paint it, but also too, I didn't think I would go this far, but this is going to simplify the cleanup so much easier. It'll be easier to get underneath things and so on. And I still actually need to try to get these towers off as well, but and I'm causing myself more work in one aspect, which is a little annoying than I anticipated. But on the positive side of that, I'm making certain pieces of the work easier. So basically what I'm going to do is put all the bolts from today in this bucket, and then I'm going to hit them with this rust dissolver gel. Basically doing this because this should treat it, but you're actually supposed to utilize water with this, which is really interesting. So I'm going to spray it all down and get in a good amount in here, and then I'm going to put in some water, and I'm just going to take a stick and agitate the crap out of it, and then just continually agitate the crap out of it every little bit. But get all of these nice and coated in here and see if this works. I mean, in theory it should, but a lot of things are supposed to work in theory. And there's a lot of things that don't work in theory, like helicopters, right? There's something that said that helicopters don't make sense, but somehow they do. So one of the things I need to do is I actually need to tack in the bottom rivets for the strut tower caps because they're loose and they're spinning, and I can't undo to remove the strut tower cap or to even tighten. And so those will be just a little bit soft and spinning in there. So I'm actually going to tack these on to get them solid, so then I can make sure it's secure enough when I go to put in the coilovers and have one less thing I need to worry about in regards to whether or not this is going to be safe in the long term. On the bottom side, or the inside here, I've got all this basically undercoating, probably original, that I got to scrape off. Like the wire wheel is not really doing it justice. So right, we are back to my favorite thing in the world, wire wheeling things. So basically, when I do a lot of spray paint work, which when I do paint work is generally the only type I do, well, I like to get a rag and some solvent and see how many cuts I have on my hands, as it lets me know by burning. But I'm just wiping off all of the dust and crap from the surface and giving it a good or decent thing for the paint to adhere to. I'm not trying to do everything perfectly by the book on this stuff in this stage. This is not that stage. This stage is called protection, not perfection. I guess. That sounds like it could be a good condom jingle. Like, anybody got it in? Like, I'm trademarking that right now. That could probably be great for advertisements on something like Tinder. I don't know. The stupid stuff that goes on in my head. I'm very glad I'm married. As a guy who oftentimes works with younger dudes on the road traveling and hearing their stories, hearing their thoughts and intentions. Like, there's some good guys that I work with, and I'm so glad that that's the case. And then there's younger guys that, like, I wouldn't say like I try to be a mentor for, but like I try to at least appeal to them for like moral things, how it is that they approach dating, like, don't waste your time, blah 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 blah, don't make the mistakes I did. Because like, we'll oftentimes be on the road, just two of us driving for hours, and with that, like, we generally get to know each other pretty well, and it's awesome as long as they're decent people. Sometimes if they're poor workers, they're unreliable, if they're not quite sure of the work that they need to be capable of doing, then it can be frustrating. But anyways, time to get a coat of paint on this. Luckily, it's warm out today. It's unexpectedly warm. One thing I always, and I learned this from a painter, one thing I always do is I focus on the tough areas to paint. So you're talking lips, corners, stuff like that first, and then get the bigger stuff done. So I'm going to kill this small little bit with this can, going in corner first. Yeah, you should probably wear some respiratory protection when painting. It's always a smart move. This can's already almost out. Now, I'm not putting a primer on this because this has a etching already for this specific paint and is rust protectant itself. So that's why I'm not doing that. All right, I will say my little experiment here with the rust remover on the bolts actually worked out really well. I ran out of wire wheels and stuff, so and paint, so I actually need to make a run to AutoZone and Harbor Freight and whatever. But I think I'm going to pick up a tumbler, and then I can actually finish these off in a tumbler so they're nice and fresh.